Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 27 of the Drop It Weight Loss Wellness Wisdom podcast. This podcast is tailor-made for those of you with weight to lose, those of you that are losing weight now, and those of you that are bathing in the success of your weight loss accomplishment. If it's your first time on the podcast, I'm your host, Nick Geoppo. And 5 years ago, I lost 110 pounds after 6 consecutive years of gaining and losing 50 pounds every single year. I've since dedicated my life to helping other people have healthier relationships with food, build healthier habits over the course of their entire life, to lose weight, keep the weight off forever, and feel better in their own bodies. So if that's something that you're looking to do, then you came to the right place. Today's episode is brought to you by our very own Drop It community and program coming live on July 1st. The simplified plan, support, and inspiration you need, not just to lose weight. We've all lost some weight before, but to actually keep the weight off and to maintain the results over the course of your now healthy life. Click the link in the description of this podcast to join the founding members waitlist before July 1st. For joining the founding members waitlist, you get locked in at a lifetime discount. You get entered into a drawing to potentially win free lifetime access. And you also get entered into 2 different drawings for 2 separate $500 raffles. So there's really no reason why you shouldn't join the founding members waitlist. Let this be the last day one of your entire life. For those of you that are already on the waitlist, there are many of you. I'm excited to be on this journey with you, and I'm excited for us to lose weight and keep the weight off together. The topic of today's episode is the 5 phases of a weight loss journey. Now, everyone's weight loss journey is a little bit different, but overarchingly, there are very many similarities to most people's weight loss journey. And everyone that I've ever talked to that has lost weight and then actually kept the weight off has gone through a very similar journey. And that's what we're going to go through today. Everyone's weight loss journey starts with phase 1, motivation. It's when you're up late at night and you think, tomorrow I'm going to start that diet. Tomorrow I'm going to start losing weight for real this time. I'm not kidding. This time is serious. This time is different because XYZ thing happened and that's motivating me. You go through this phase of ultra motivation. And hopefully when you wake up the next morning, you still feel some of that and you actually move forward with moving into positive action to lose weight and keep the weight off from that motivation that you had the night before. A lot of the times people don't. It's just kind of something that happens late at night. But if you make it through the next day and you wake up and you go on a walk outside and you make some healthy decisions for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you might maintain that motivation for 2 or 3 days, maybe even a week. There's lots of self-belief. There's lots of, I'm really doing it. I'm losing weight really fast. The first week has gone well. I lost 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 7 pounds in the first week. A lot of it is water weight, but we still feel really good about making progress in that first week. So motivation is really high. And when you're motivated to do something, it's really easy to do. When you're really motivated to lose weight, losing weight is a lot easier. When you have a strong why, a strong reason for wanting to lose weight, I want to lose weight because I want to feel younger and more energetic than I ever have before. I want to lose weight so that I can feel what it's like to be more active with my children. Whatever your why is, when the why is really strong, the how becomes a lot easier and you tend to just feel a little bit more motivated. Even though motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. No one's motivated all the time. Anyone can go to the gym when they're motivated. Anyone can make healthy decisions with food when they're motivated. What ends up happening after maybe a week or so is you transition into phase 2. Phase 2 is self-doubt. Self-doubt starts creeping in when you start getting a little hungry. Self-doubt starts creeping in when you start having some cravings. Self-doubt starts creeping in when your energy is a little bit lower and you're just not motivated anymore. You feel a little more disconnected from all that motivation you had the first couple days or the first week or so. And maybe you gain 1 pound on the scale because of whatever reason, or because you made a quote unquote unhealthy decision around food and you ate something that you shouldn't have, or you ate too much of something that you just shouldn't have eaten, and you instantly lose, within a second's notice, you lose some of that motivation that you initially had that felt so good. And you think, well, self-doubt, the voice in the back of your head starts going, well, I'm just not that motivated of a person. Maybe losing weight isn't for me. Maybe I was just meant to be big. My family's big, and I don't have great genetics. I have bad genetics, and I'm kind of big boned, and I've just never really liked healthy foods. And I don't even know, like, am I eating the right things? Am I doing this? In self-doubt starts really creeping in. And then you start thinking, well, I'm just going to take a day off. I'm going to take one meal off of my quote unquote diet that I'm on. And then you do it. And then you have even less motivation and even more self-doubt. And then that's kind of just the end of your journey. You gave into the self-doubt. How many of you listening to this podcast have experienced that exact same thing? Because I experienced that at different parts of my life all the time. But the biggest parts that hurt me the most were the times when I was trying to lose weight. Those are the times that I remember more than any other ones. But what I realized was I actually doubt myself in everything. This journey, these 5 phases that I'm going to walk you through right now, are the same 5 phases of changing anything about your life. That's why weight loss is the ultimate teacher and the ultimate form of self-improvement. Because once you realize these 5 phases are how you lose weight, they're also the same 5 phases on how you make more money. They're the same 5 phases of how to have a healthier relationship. They're all the same. So you have some self-doubt. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't have what it takes. And most people quit right here. Maybe 95% of people quit when the self-doubt starts really creeping in. Here's the part that most people don't make it to. And this is the difference between the people that actually keep going and the people that don't. You make it to phase 3. Phase 3 is letting go. So that voice in the back of your head that says, I just can't do it, man. I just have always been a big guy, always been a big girl. I don't know, why am I even doing this? Why am I even doing this? And then you quit. You let that part of yourself die. And sometimes that's easier said than done. You have to let that part of yourself die. The way to do it is to close your eyes and take a breath and visualize you breathing that part of yourself out. It's just gone. Completely let go of who you are. Stop identifying as the person that just can't do it. Stop identifying as the person that's just not motivated. It doesn't matter that you're not motivated. Stop identifying as the person that has bad genetics and, well, I just grew up eating bad food and whatever your limiting belief is, whatever the excuse is that you tell yourself. We all have these excuses. For me, it was, I'm just so anxious. I just love food. I just don't like healthy food. How am I going to lose weight when I just don't like healthy food? Well, when I started eating more healthy food and finding ways to make it in a way that I liked, now I crave it. I let that part of myself die. I literally visualized letting go of that part of myself and them literally dying. And what happens when you have that visualization is a lot of emotion comes up. Because we're all kind of hiding behind these stories that we tell ourselves, right? We tell ourselves that we are this person, but you're not actually the person that you typically tell yourself that you are. You tell yourself that you just can't do it because you just aren't motivated. You are not your self-doubt. You can't identify with your self-doubt. You have to believe that there's a shot in hell that you're going to be able to do it. You don't have to believe that it's certainly possible. And I know for a fact that I didn't always feel like that. I very rarely did. When I did, I pulled my camera out and I recorded it. And then every time that I doubted myself, I went back and I listened to myself to encourage myself. But I didn't always feel like that. I felt like that very rarely. But I took advantage of those times when I did. And you can do that as well. So when you let go of this side of you that has these excuses, these limiting beliefs, and just can't do it, you move on to phase 4. Phase 4 is the character. This is the most interesting phase because when you let go of your identity that is tied to your own obesity, or you let go of your identity that's tied to the reasons why you just can't do it, or when you let go of the voice inside of your head that says, I just don't know if this is for me. Maybe I'm just meant to be big. I've always been big. You make room for a new person to come through. And this new person can be whoever the hell you want them to be. You can just decide that this new person is the kind of person that wakes up 15 minutes earlier to go on a walk in the morning. You can just decide that this new person makes healthier decisions by eating healthier, more natural, whole and real foods in healthier portion sizes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can just decide that this new person carries themselves in a way that they have respect for their own lives and for their own bodies. And you can take this so much further than weight loss or food or exercise. You can just decide that this person smiles more. You can decide this person has a better handshake and makes better eye contact. You can decide that they just show up with a little more energy, even when they don't feel it. they just practice having more energy. They practice listening more. They practice being a better conversationalist. They practice speaking ability so that they can portray their thoughts in a way that other people give a damn to even hear. All of these things that you want to fix in yourself, you can just decide that this new quote-unquote character that you're playing embodies all of the things that you want them to. They have all the things in their life that you want to have for your own life. And you go on and you play this character for a couple months. And you start seeing results in a way that you've never seen them before. You're losing the weight. You're really doing it. You're really doing it, but you're dealing with some imposter syndrome. You're thinking, well, I don't know if this is who I really am. And self-doubt starts coming back just a little bit. I don't know. Is this really who I am, or am I just faking? Maybe I'm just faking being this healthy person. Maybe I'm not really a healthy person. What if I'm only doing this for 3 months and then I lose the weight and then I gain the weight back? All these fears exist in the back of your mind. And even though you don't want to give them any power, you know deep down you're the only one that knows that they're still there. You don't really know what's going to happen at the end of the day. So you keep playing the character. You're playing the character. You're playing the character. You get a year into playing the character and you hit your weight loss goal. You hit your weight loss goal and you keep all of the weight off. You never quite stop playing the character. But over time, this imposter syndrome, this idea that you're playing someone, you just kind of forget about it. And you kind of forget about all of these phases. And you just never really think about it. And everyone just looks at you and goes, oh, yeah, you lost weight. Yeah. But some people look at you and they say, you changed. They go, you changed. You changed. And they say it in a way that is uncomfortable. Because they're uncomfortable with your change. Because through this process of playing what feels to you to be a character that makes healthier choices and lives the lifestyle that you as yourself actually want to live, it makes other people uncomfortable. Because when other people see you doing the things that they deep down also want to do, they're just not doing, it's really hard to process. It's not their fault that they're uncomfortable. They don't know how to treat you because you're a different person. You've literally become this character. And they don't know you as this character. They know you as the fat guy or the fat girl that never took care of themselves. But now you've lost the weight. And you did it by letting go of your limiting beliefs, by letting go of your excuses, and by creating somebody new. Somebody that you just decided to make up and to become. And they don't know how to treat you. So you can't be upset with them. But people are going to treat you different. They're going to say things like, you've changed. Oh, you don't want to come out to the buffet anymore? You don't want to go drink until 2 a.m. anymore? Oh, you're too cool. Oh, you're too cool to do this. Oh, whatever. Well, you've changed, so that's fine. If someone ever tells you that you changed, here's what I say when people tell me that I changed. I look at them and I say, thank you. They go, what do you mean? I go, that is really reaffirming to hear because I didn't like myself before. So when you say that I changed, it makes me smile because I love myself in a way that I never have. And I have a respect and a self-belief for myself that I never had before. So I'm glad that I changed because I took all that energy that I was putting into trying to be happy with the way that things were when I was fat and depressed and anxious and just drowning my emotions in food and Netflix and video games and booze and weed or whatever the hell I was doing. When all of those things, I had to address all of them through weight loss. So did I change? Yes, I absolutely changed. Thank you. And I hope that you can be a part of my life with this change because I still care about you, but I'm not the same person that I was before. And what you start to realize is all these people in your life that knew you before, they didn't actually know you for who you were. And you realize this when you get to phase 5. Phase 5 is reflection. You lose all the weight. You become the guy that lost or the girl that lost all the weight. And then you just kind of forget that you were ever fat. And you move on, and now it's been years. Now it's 5 years later. And you go back and you reflect on the entire experience and the whole journey in all the first 4 phases. Motivation, self-doubt, letting go, letting self-doubt die, and then creating, building, and becoming the character. And through this reflection, you realize this character, this new person that came through, that you became, was never a character at all. It's who you actually are. And it's who you've been the entire time. You didn't pull a character in from thin air. You pushed this person out from inside of you. This person was always inside of you. And it's who you actually are. What you were doing when you were fat was playing a character. You're not playing a character now. You were playing a character before. When you were watching Netflix for 3 hours a day, that was a character. When you were drinking booze or smoking weed every night, that was a character. When you were eating McDonald's 4 to 5 times a week and drinking milkshakes, or in my case, getting Dairy Queen Blizzards for 29 consecutive days and sitting on my ass and playing video games every day and not really trying and not really going for anything because I didn't even know what I truly wanted for my own life besides just short-term pleasure. That was a character. And when you let that character die, the new character that comes through is who you actually are. Whoever you believe that you are is who you actually are. And over time of playing this new character for long enough, you start to believe that you are them, and then you become them, and you realize you've always been them. You built this person to be the way that you've always wanted to be because that's how and who you actually are. And after 1 or 2 years, this imposter syndrome, this idea of playing a character just completely goes away, and you forget about all of it because it's who you actually are. If you play someone long enough, you become the person. That's how you change your fucking life. To lose weight and keep the weight off, it's so much less about what do I eat? How many steps should I take per day? And what time should I eat? And does apple cider vinegar help me lose weight? And how many calories do you burn from taking a cold shower? It's so much less about all this shit. And it's so much more about, are you willing to, phase 1, do it even when you aren't motivated? Are you willing to do it even when you aren't motivated? It's so much more about phase 2. Are you willing to let go of the self-doubt? Are you willing to let that part of yourself die and stop identifying with the person that I don't know? Stop identifying with the little voice in the back of your head. And when self-doubt comes back, are you willing to keep moving forward even though you might be doubting yourself? In phase 3, it's so much more about, are you willing to let go? Phase 4, are you willing to build someone new and let a new person come through and build that new person to live the lifestyle that you actually want to live? And then phase 5, are you willing to reflect on the whole journey and realize that in the end, all processes are the same? Are you willing to really dissect your own life and realize that the way you lost weight is the same way that you graduated from high school, by showing up every day even when you didn't want to? The way you lost weight is the same way that you can build a business, even when there's self-doubt, even when there's no motivation, even when there's going to be hardships. Are you willing to learn? It's the same as anything that you want to do. You want to regain the respect of your husband or your wife or your children. Are you willing to go through these phases of, I feel like I should do this. I don't know if I can do it. I got to let go of that side of me. I'm just going to become the person. I'm just going to build the character that I want to be in this situation and then become the character over time. That's how you create the life for yourself that you want to live. There is no other way. There's no amount of going from eating 2 McDonald's cheeseburgers to 1 McDonald's cheeseburger because it's half the calories that's going to help you lose weight, because you're still the same fucking person in that situation. You have to literally change who you are. You have to literally change who you are. Are you willing to change who you are? Are you willing to change how you walk? Are you willing to change how you look at people? Are you willing to practice speaking in a way that commands a little bit more respect of other people in a room? All of these things are deeply tied to each other. Are you willing to clean your house? Are you willing to make your bed in the morning? Are you willing to wake up 15 minutes earlier to just go on a walk? Well, I can't because my kids. Are you willing to take your kids on the walk with you? Every excuse that comes up, I've had all of these excuses. Every excuse that comes up, are you willing to say, I'm going to find a way to do it, even when I just don't really know how? That's what you have to do to lose weight. And once you learn that, you realize that's actually the only way to do anything. And you've already done it in other ways, just probably without thinking about it. If you think about the hardest thing that you've ever done, there's a really similar journey to those 5 phases that I just went through that you subconsciously went through without thinking about it. Once you start thinking about it, you realize you absolutely have what it takes to lose weight because you had what it takes to do all these other things in your life that you also had difficulty on in the process, but still persevered in the end. Motivation, self-doubt, letting go, building the character, becoming the character, and reflecting on the process. If you made it to the end of this podcast episode, I greatly appreciate you being here. please leave us a review, an honest review, anywhere from 1 to 5 stars on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or on whatever platform you are listening to. It really helps us with getting this message out to people that really need it, to the people that just don't feel like they have what it takes. There aren't a lot of people on the internet that are talking about these ideas of not just how to lose weight, but what actually goes into the mentality of losing weight and keeping the weight off. And so many of you have been telling me about how these methods of looking at the world and of looking at your own lives and looking at your own weight loss journey have been benefiting you. And it means the world to me. I want our community to keep growing, and I want to reach more people that would benefit in the same way. The best way you can support me and us in doing that is by leaving a review on this podcast. So excited to be working with so many of you that are on the Drop It community waitlist coming July 1st. I'm excited for you to be a founding member, and I'm really looking forward to being on this journey with you. I hope everyone has a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.